All right, folks. Larry Ellison's son, using his dad's money, bought Paramount CBS. Now, that same company, literally, that merger just went through. Now, Wall Street Journal is reporting that they're going to put in a massive bid to buy Warner Discovery, the parent company of CNN. Now, Warner Discovery, led by David Zaslav, they announced they're going to be splitting the company into two companies. But these folks, they want to buy the company in its entirety. Now, here's the whole deal here. Historically, it's critically important, historically, federal regulators would not allow a merger when you're talking about fewer competitors. So Paramount owns Paramount Pictures. They will be buying Warner Brothers. Both are major movie studios. But this is Donald Trump. We've already seen what's happening. Now, report just came out. Larry Ellison is now the richest man in the world. That's right, he surpassed Elon Musk. Larry Ellison, of course, founder of Oracle. Trump is going to let them also take over TikTok. So let me paint this picture for you so you understand. And Greg, I'm going to go to you first. I need people to understand that, and what these folks have been doing, what they've been doing is doing the bidding of Donald Trump. The FCC commissioner, the FCC chair said, get rid of DEI. They did it. They just hired an ombudsman for CBS who has no media experience, and he has expressed fealty to Donald Trump. That's who they hired. They're talking about cutting a deal and buying Barry Wise, her media company. She's a right-winger who left the New York Times. Guess what? And giving her editorial control over CBS. So if this happens here, that means that hardcore Trump supporters would own CBS, would own CNN, would own TikTok. I explained to people why Black Star Network matters, this show matters. And again, when you don't understand the power of media, and that's what the right wing have done. They were pissed off when George Soros bought, I forgot the radio company, it was escaping me right now, Cumulus. When he bought it, they were like, oh my God, George Soros is going to take over, and a lot of our conservative radio shows are on these stations. Because they saw what Sinclair did. They saw what Fox News has done, and Newsmax, and OAN. And so this could be a very serious issue when you talk about getting real news if they then own CBS and CNN.
No, I agree. It's interesting, Roland. It's very interesting what you've built over the last 7 years. And then with Roland Martin Unfiltered, and then over the last 4 years with the Black Star. Not only is it the wave of the future, it's the only way to go. I'm less concerned with them buying it all. Legacy media has, almost like Tim Snyder in his book on fascism talks about, do not resist in advance, do not concede in advance, do not bow down before the thing goes down. Well, they've already done that. CNN's unwatchable. God bless Abby Phillip, doing the best I suppose she can. She's trying to keep her job. It's unwatchable. MSNBC, of course, has had its purges, its rolling purges. They couldn't stand Melissa Harris Perry, much less Tiffany Cross or Joy Reid. They've had their purges, and now they are unwatchable. It's like a caricature listening to them. And the major networks, please. I mean, NBC carrying Chuck Todd for as long as they did, it's absurd. And now they won't even ask questions. So yeah. What if they buy it off? So what if they buy it off? Mehdi Hassan gets put off, and now he's bigger than ever. And Zateo, Jim Acosta gets put off. He goes on Substack. But all of them following really what you saw coming years ago. I'm saying all that to say this. I don't know that they buy TikTok, because this is the beauty of how white nationalism, domestic white nationalism, doesn't understand, or at least understands but overplays its hand. See, there's the Chinese out there. You saw Temu, is it? They made a carve-out exception to allow them to continue to ship. Why? Because China's got the second economy in the world. You know what they're concerned about right now? I mean, they got a real estate real estate bubble, and they got some, heating in their national economy, and they got the state investments, and they got to worry about some of that stuff. But one of the biggest fights they're having in China right now is the electric vehicle fight. Why? Because the innovation is coming so fast and so furious, led by, of course, BYD, the big monster that ate Tesla's lunch in Europe and has continued to eat and eat all over the world. Not the United States, of course, you can't get one, can you? But their big fight now is the innovation is coming so fast that the damn prices for the electric vehicles are dropping so fast that the Chinese are worried about the fact that this is a problem. The cars are too cheap and they're too good. I'm saying all that as a backdrop to this. Young people don't watch CNN. Young people don't watch MSNBC, ABC, NBC, or CBS. Young people be on them phones and be on them screens, and they use the hell out of TikTok and Instagram and all that other stuff. And if these fascists take TikTok some kind of way, and I think China will have a word to say about that, even as you say, this guy from the Hudson Institute that they put as the ombudsman of CBS was defending Taiwan and some stuff when he was at the Hudson Institute. But even if they take it over and turn it into a fascist platform, you know how quick these kids going to abandon TikTok and go to something else? The problem these fascists have is that fascism is always defeated when enough people decide that they've had enough. And they're trying to get this thing to the finish line as if there's a finish line as fast as they can, but they don't understand the forces working against them, or they think somehow they can overcome them. This is a wait and see kind of thing, but if Ellison buys it, man, you done wasted your damn money, because anybody watching that ish.
The thing that is concerning here, Tim, is that when we talk about the social media platforms, many people said 2-3 months before the election how TikTok had changed. They can alter the algorithm at any time. We see Elon Musk does it as well. Mark Zuckerberg has been doing it. This is one of the reasons why we have been pushing fan base on here for folks to join fan base. So if you had 1 million followers, you can actually reach 1 million followers. You wouldn't be throttled. You wouldn't see those things along those lines. And that's the real concern here. But with this media consolidation by the right wing, it literally is about controlling the mechanism through which to communicate to people, the pipelines, how to reach them. And I was at a conference earlier this week, and I was imploring people to understand, folks, it's called mass media for a reason. You can have a town hall, you can have a gathering, you can have a Zoom call, but when you have the ability to communicate to people every single day, every single hour, every single minute, every single second, then you can truly affect, first of all, you can affect to create an effect of the hearts and minds of folks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my biggest concern is Larry Ellison buying TikTok and there not being a place for most people to go. All of our social networking apps have algorithms, and all of them are owned by essentially right-wing billionaires. And I think the left has to get really serious about this alternative media. I mean, like Roland, you've been doing this longer than anybody, and I hope anybody who's listening is donating to you, because we frankly need you to be 100 times bigger than you are, and we need 100 other people to be 100 times bigger than they are. Because you're right, like the media consolidation is a very scary thing. Putting Barry Weiss in charge of political content on CBS News, and they're paying her $200 million for free press, which is basically a glorified Substack. I mean, it's clear, like you're right. Like they aren't doing this necessarily for the revenue. They're doing it for the power, and then the revenue will come after that. But that's why we need, on the left, we need people to come together and fund progressive media, all different types of it, because we need to reach those audiences when those algorithms get jerked around like they did before the election last year. It's a real problem, and that's why we have to stand up these media properties ourselves, because no one else is going to do it for us, and otherwise Republicans will dominate, and there will be nothing that we can do about it.
Nola.
I agree, Tim. I have a small little show, Nightcap on the Persist Network, which is run by women, powered by women, and we are having a hard time not just breaking through the algorithm, but finding funding. Our entire purpose is to counter the manosphere, but it's very hard to do that when you don't have the resources. But luckily, we have so many women in our network that, for instance, my show, I get great women, to talk to and interview, but we haven't been able to break through. But, I want to go back to something that Greg said, the way that propaganda works and the way that it works inside of fascism, is it's across sectors. So while young folks don't have their eyes on MSNBC and CNN, it is layered conditioning, it's layered propaganda. So you have their parents, their grandparents who are tuned into Fox News all day, who are listening to certain things, right? They're talking about it in the home, right? And then now you have this lean towards the right in entertainment. You know, you go on Netflix or you go on Amazon, there are movies that are pro-Trump folks, these very pro-American, you know, this kind of return back to 24 style TV shows about DHS and the FBI and all these things. So it's layered. It's not just about CNN. It's not just about MSNBC. Yes, it's about the TikToks. It's about social media. It's about what's being talked about at home. It's about what movies you are seeing. It's about the Sydney Sweeneys and, you know, the American Eagle and her jeans. It's propaganda, and it's in every single sector. So while the young folks may not be seated in front of those, you know, corporate media channels, it is part of a layered strategy. And that is how propaganda spreads. And so that's my worry. I've even heard conversations, you know, change on the different campuses that I'm in among, you know, young folks. And even going back, you know, to Charlie Kirk, he had a hold over young people. You know, this 31-year-old man, he was definitely moving the not even conservative movement, because this is beyond conservatism. This is something else. He resonated with them, right, through the rallies, which is a huge part of the propaganda piece, right? These rallies that are almost billed like festivals. So you have all of this and all of
but the media, right. But the media, the reason first of all, having an organization is one thing. The media piece is totally different, because what you're now seeing is, again, I need people to understand what we're talking about here. You have Paramount, CBS, Paramount Plus, the streaming service, but then if you talk about Warner Discovery, you're talking about Discovery and all other cable channels as well. And we've already seen where when Donald Trump says jump, Paramount Skydance goes, okay, how high, how many times? So that's what I think people need to understand. The tentacles here are wide and deep. When you talk about multiple, you know, you got Discovery, you got TNT, you got TBS, you got CNN. So the bid they're going to be putting in is for all of it. And so that's really what I'm trying to get people to understand. What is at play here? And then, of course, remember, TikTok was supposed to be shut down. Donald Trump has been extending this thing incessantly. And again, people are essentially saying he is going to position it to where Larry Ellison is able to own it. And so now all of a sudden you have that platform. And so all these things are happening. I just want people to understand what media is huge. Media plays a massive role in shaping people's viewpoint on so many issues. So whether it's legacy media, whether it's television, whether it's broadcast, cable, whether it's radio, billboards, advertising, now digital, movies, you name it, it is absolutely massive.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. and that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.